Hello, my dear students of class 8th. How are you? I am fine, and I hope that you would also find there. Well, once again, we are here to learn one of the parts of speech called pronoun. On the last turn, I taught you about noun and its kinds. Well, today, we have to know about another part of the speech, and we call it pronoun. Well, before going on, there is a need of understanding what is the use of, what is the utility of, why should we use pronoun. Actually, pronoun is used to sustain or to stop the repetition of the same word as noun or noun as a subject. That's why we have to take the help of pronoun. Well, pronoun has been defined by several grammarians as it is a word used instead of noun. Well, some other grammar book writers have also written about pronoun in their different words or using different words. A pronoun is a versatile word that substitutes for a noun. The noun that is replaced is called the antecedent. Pronouns can do everything that a noun can. It can act as a subject, direct object, and indirect object. So it was about pronoun. What is pronoun? And what is the use of pronoun? I just told you. Well, it is used in place of noun, instead of noun. Without pronouns, the using a way of using of nouns becomes repetitive, and that would make our speech and writing uninteresting and cumbersome. Cumbersome has different meanings as whimsy, maybe awkward, and maybe inept. And to avoid the repetition, the grammarians have used the word pronoun. It's okay. Well, if we can also understand the same thing with the help of one example. I read a paragraph, and in this paragraph we will find the use of same name, and the same name, if repeated several times, it caused a kind of boring. So let's see. I read the example. For example, Harry and Tom are best friends. Harry and Tom study in the same school. Harry and Tom always stay together. Harry and Tom enjoy being with each other. You see, in this short paragraph, I use the term Harry and Tom repeatedly. Several times I repeated. Definitely it might have caused a kind of boring, kind of clumsiness, kind of awkwardness. So just to stop this clumsiness, this awkwardness, the grammarians definitely might have thought about the use of some other word. That's why this word named as pronoun might have been discovered. So let's see. Well, to stop the repetition, we can speak the same paragraph as Harry and Tom are best friends. They Actually, Harry and Tom are two persons, so the writer used the term they. They is pronoun, third person pronoun, and it is plural. It is used for more than one subject. So once again I repeat the same. Harry and Tom are best friends. They study in the same school. They always stay together. They enjoy being with each other. So it is clear, my dear students, that to stop the repetition of the same subject, the same doer, well, we use pronoun. Now, I think pronoun is clear to you. Now let's talk about the different types of pronoun. Well, the grammarians have given 8 types of pronoun. Well, first, personal. Second, possessive. Third, reflexive. Fourth, emphatic. Fifth, demonstrative. Sixth, indefinite. Seventh, interrogative. And eighth, relative. Relative pronoun. So there are 8 kinds of pronouns. Now let's talk about first 4. Well, I've decided to teach you about first 4 pronouns today. Well, if I teach you about all the pronouns today, well, it may cause a kind of confusion. That's why, to avoid the confusion, I've decided to teach you just first 4 today and first 4 on the next turn. Okay? So let's understand the first 4 kinds of pronoun. Personal, first kind. We are going to discuss about first kind. Personal pronoun. What is personal pronoun? Actually, personal pronoun is used for persons. Well, for example, I am going to the market. Here in the sentence, I is the personal pronoun and is also a doer, is also the subject. Second example, can you help me in my work? Well, in the sentence, you, as we are talking about personal pronoun, you and me are pronouns, personal pronouns. So personal pronoun, once again I want to repeat the same. A personal pronoun is a pronoun that refers to a person or a thing. Clear? There are 3 persons we know very well: first person, second person, and third person. First person, singular, I, plural, we, and second person, you, and well, as object, you is also used. Third person, singular, he, she, it, and plural, they. So it was about persons, and I want to tell you something more about personal pronoun addingly. The first person is the person who is speaking. How can you identify? The first person is the person, first person is I, who is speaking. The second person is the person who is being spoken to, while the third person is the person who is spoken about. So it was about personal pronoun. Now let's see, or let's read about second kind, possessive. As on the last turn, I taught you and I told you one very good thing. Well, if we just go into the meaning of or detail of the word, well, 50% of work seems to be over. For example, if you know the meaning of possession, if you know the meaning of possessive here is working as adjective, possessive pronoun. So if you just try, if you are slightly inquisitive, slightly curious to know about the meaning of these words, half work seems to be over. Possessive means it actually points at, it focuses at the possession of something. So some such pronouns used to show the possession are supposed to be possessive pronouns. For example, mine, hers, his, yours, ours, theirs are some of the examples of possessive pronoun. Well, I want to tell you a little more. Possessive pronouns are used after the noun they refer to. For example, this house is mine. As I just spoke a sentence, once again I speak the sentence first, then I will explain this thing. Look, possessive pronouns are used after the noun they refer to. Now, I read the example repeatedly. This house is mine. In the sentence, the house is mine. House is the noun, and mine is pronoun, and mine shows the possession. Well, the thing as house is yours. So in the sentence, well, the word that is showing possession, you're right, is mine. Mine here is used as a possessive pronoun, and house is noun. Is that clear? One more example, the bag is yours. Third example, this idea is ours. In second and third sentence, yours and ours are used as possessive pronouns. Is that clear? Now let's read about another kind of pronoun that is reflexive. Well, I would like to say the same thing repeatedly. Well, if you go through the meaning of some words, some such words like reflexive, possessive, personal, used for persons, so the thing seems to be clear. Well, we are discussing about reflexive pronoun. Reflexive, reflect, reflexive. Reflexive pronoun. The word reflect used as reflexive here in this, and reflexive is being used as adjective. Reflexive pronoun. Reflect. It means turn back. Reflect means if the thing seems to be going back to the subject or the word with self, if seems to be attacking on subject, supposed to be reflexive. Actually, these reflexive pronouns are formed by adding self, S-E-L-F, self. Okay, they are formed by adding self. Well, like yourself, himself, herself, themselves, myself are some of the reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns are always used as objects of the sentence. For example, my mother wrote this book herself. In the sentence, herself is being used as object. Is that clear? Herself is being as object. You know what the object is? Okay. Second example, they bought the car themselves. So these were the examples of reflexive pronouns. Okay. Well, reflexive pronouns, well, very simple thing. This or that you have to keep in mind. Reflexive pronouns are formed by adding self to my your, they, I mean themselves, in them, themselves, your, yourself, and my, myself. So reflexive pronoun is clear. Like reflexive, one more kind of pronoun is here. I'm just going to tell about, and it is emphasizing pronouns. Emphasize. Emphasize means to say something stressingly. It means that here the doer seems to be emphasizing over the thing that he or she is going to do. So, like reflexive, this emphasizing pronoun also formed by adding self. But there is one difference. In reflexive pronouns, we use the word herself, himself, myself, themselves in the end of the sentence. But here, in emphasizing sentence, you will find the use of the same thing, the same word, just next to the doer, next to the subject. For example, I myself, and well, if we speak, you want to speak some sentences, we have to change the mode of speaking. We have not to say I myself have. No. We have to say with some stress. For example, I myself have written this. I myself have delivered this speech. So, while speaking or talking about emphasizing sentences, the mode also seems to be changing. The style of speaking also changes. And we talk like, I myself have committed the blunder mistake. She herself came with this plan. She herself suggested his idea to me. She herself suggested this idea to me. So, these were some of the examples of reflexive pronouns. Well, one thing, my dear students, that you have to keep in mind is, once again I say, it is one of the parts of speech. Parts of speech. It means there is a great necessity of using this word pronoun while forming a statement, a speech. Speech means here statement. Well, if you want to speak, if you want to write any statement, you will have to make the use of these parts of speech. As on the last term, I explained you about noun. It was also one of the parts of speech. And now, just I am explaining you about one and the part of speech, and that is pronoun. So I told you about 4 different kinds of pronoun. First, personal. Second, possessive. Third, reflexive. Fourth, emphasizing. Well, I will talk about the remaining 4 kinds of pronoun in the next episode. So till then, you please keep enjoying, revising all these, and one more thing I have to entrust you. You have to write about pronoun and its kinds with some examples, as I also explained you all the first four kinds of pronouns with 1 or 2 or more than 2 examples. So my dear students, I also expect the same to be done, and you have to write about first 4 pronouns, kinds of pronouns, okay, with the definition of pronoun. Thank you, my dear students. We will meet once again on the next turn with the next 4 kinds of pronoun. Thank you.